Hello and welcome back to Tian Finance. This is my weekly market and investment update video. If you want to see this every week, click on that subscribe button. So this week really wasn't a great week for local investors. Local was not lacquer. The JSE All-Share Index was down by about 2%. This was as a result of mining and resource shares being hit quite hard this week. Remember, we are a very resource heavy index. So when mining and resource shares get hit, it tends to pull down the index, and this week it pulled it down by about 2%. Why were they down? One of the reasons was that the Federal Reserve did not increase or decrease interest rates, but they did indicate that they are quite hawkish, with many of the members indicating that they may increase rates towards the end of the year, which is the reason why we got a bit of a shellacking in two areas, the Rand and the mining and resource stocks. Speaking of the Rand weakened to 16 Rand 41 against the dollar. If you are talking about the dollar, the S&P 500 was more resilient, and that was up this week by 1%. The MSCI All Country World Index was up by 0.48%. The difference between those two is that the S&P 500 is the 500 largest companies by market cap in the US, and the MSCI All Country World Index looks at the largest companies across the globe. So what does that mean? It means that if you are an SA investor and you have offshore investments, this week you benefited from both the Rand weakening because that helps you if you are investing offshore, and you also benefited from the S&P 500 potentially being up by 1% depending on what you held. The other big news for this week was the Brent crude oil price, for the first time in quite some time, falling to below $80. I think it ended at about $79.20 per barrel. That was as a result of the peace agreement that was signed, something we'll be keeping a close eye on because that really was great for oil prices, specifically Brent crude oil. That's what happened this week in markets. What am I watching for next week? I think there's three things. I think I want to see what's happening in the local SA economic data to see how the general public is coping with these increased energy prices. Secondly, I'll be watching what's happening with global energy prices, the global energy supply, because that will definitely have an impact on various investment elements. And then lastly, where's money flowing? Do we now see money flowing to emerging markets, tech stocks, gold, etc.? We'll be seeing what that flow looks like going into next week. But as always, just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is for information and educational purposes only. If you need financial advice regarding your investments, speak to your qualified financial planner and hit that subscribe button if you want to get my weekly market and investment update. Okay, till next time, bye-bye.